In this video, we're going to tell you the full story behind Marvel's Red Hulk, the birth of Red Hulk. First and foremost, what you need to know is that the Red Hulk's alter ego is the classic OG Hulk's rival, General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. Now, we won't be going through General Ross's full story here. Instead, we'll be at a certain point in the man's life, one that will ultimately lead him to becoming the menacing crimson-skinned brute. It all started during a very dark period in his life. His daughter Betty had just been taken out by the supervillain Abomination, and to add to this, the longtime object of his hate, the original Hulk, was nowhere to be found on Earth after the Jade Giant got yeeted into space by the Illuminati. Suffice it to say that the loss of his daughter and the disappearance of the big green rage machine caused the general to spiral into a depression. After all, what purpose did he have now that the most important person in his life and the creature he branded his arch nemesis were both gone? It all came to a head during one fateful night, the same one where Captain America lost his life. Ross was drinking his woes away at a bar when, curiously enough, he found that all the patrons in the establishment were suddenly driven into a daze. That is, except for himself. Moments later, the supervillain MODOK and the Leader approached him with a proposition. According to the two, the Hulk would soon be returning to Earth to launch a war against his heroes, and he could help in this oncoming fight. Suffice it to say that the two villains dangled an extremely tempting carrot to convince him to join them. There's the prospect of the general getting to duke it out with his gamma-powered nemesis again, but more importantly, MODOK and the Leader swore that they're going to resurrect his daughter Betty if he joined them, and he did. Eventually, the Hulk did arrive on Earth in what would be known as World War Hulk storyline. In the aftermath of that altercation, Thaddeus and his villainous allies managed to extract the Hulk's energy and even procure Bruce Banner's body in the process. From there, MODOK, the Leader, and the superhero Doc Samson would use Bruce's body and the Hulk's extracted energy to perform a procedure on Ross that eventually turned him into an alternate red-skinned version of the Jade Giant. Thus, the Red Hulk was born. Now guys, you wouldn't be completely wrong to think that the OG Hulk and the Red Hulk are pretty much two sides of the same coin, but without getting into a long-winded argument about power scaling, what's different about the Red Hulk is that unlike Bruce, Thaddeus can transform into the Red Hulk at will. That is to say, he has more of a relative grip on his transformations compared to Bruce's rage-activated transitions into the Jade Giant. In addition to that, it's also known that the Red Hulk feeds off various kinds of energies, such as gamma radiation and the power cosmic. And you might be wondering, why is he red instead of green? And the short answer is, it's a mixture of gamma and cosmic rays that give him the red hue instead of the gamma green that we're all familiar with. At this point, Thaddeus and his shady allies have also started to call their little clique the Intelligentsia, and to make sure that no one catches on to what they're doing in the shadows, they created an LMD, a life model decoy of Thaddeus to attend his day-to-day commitments. In truth though, Ross had begun going on missions for the Intelligentsia with his newfound powers as the Red Hulk. Knowledge of his new crimson-tinted gamma monster eventually caught the public eye when he was spotted somewhere in the wilderness of the Great North. During that mission, the Red Hulk tussled with the Wendigo and took the beast out. Not long after that, more sightings of the Red Hulk emerged, such as when he was spotted at the Bering Strait. In yet another one of his adventures, the Red Hulk managed to get some retribution for his daughter's untimely passing when he eliminated the same villain who took her life, the Abomination. In the meantime, Ross's LMD was called upon to get to the bottom of this Red Hulk fiasco. The LMD even drafted Bruce Banner himself to help with the investigation. As expected, Bruce came up with results based on his own research. However, the original Ross transformed into Red Hulk and was able to set himself upon Bruce before he could disseminate his findings. Afterwards, the Red Hulk found himself at odds with the Intelligentsia when he foiled their attempts to turn Rick Jones into another gamma-powered monster, A-Bomb. In the ensuing scuffle, the Red Hulk fought A-Bomb, a cadre of cybernetic versions of the Harpy, and even tussled with the OG Hulk. And just to drive the point home that this was an important juncture in the Marvel Universe, Uatu the Watcher appeared during this battle royale, who was then promptly given a beating by the Red Hulk. It would take the OG Hulk's best efforts to stop his red counterpart from putting hands on the multiversal being. The Red Hulk and OG Hulk would continue to come across each other after this, with the mystery of the Crimson Giant's identity still not known to the larger Marvel Universe at this point. In one encounter, Red Hulk managed to beat the Jade Giant near San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge. Unsurprisingly, Red Hulk would relish this victory by showboating until Thor arrived. Not backing down from a good fight, the Red Hulk and the God of Thunder had themselves a brawl that saw the Asgardian take an L on the surface of the moon. In the single leap, the Red Hulk went from the moon and back to Earth. This of course caused a large tremor, which then prompted the likes of OG OG Hulk, She-Hulk, and some of the Earth's mightiest heroes to conduct further investigations. Not long after getting his butt handed to him, Thor would get a rematch against the Red Hulk. This time, the God of Thunder would best the fiery brute in a matter of seconds. With a bruised ego and a raging temper, Thor was just about ready to take out Hulk when an A-bomb intervened. And props to A-bomb too, because the reason he stopped Thor from ending the Red Hulk was because according to him, the OG Hulk should be the one to take out his Red counterpart. Talk about a hyped main event. Not long after, OG Hulk and the Red Hulk squared off. The Red Giant was doing well until we found out that there was a drawback to his powers. Specifically, the Red Hulk had a tendency to overheat, which is basically akin to Ross reaching his limit. This caused the Red Hulk to get thrown off his game, allowing OG Hulk to deck him. And for the second time, the Crimson Brute got another L on his record. Shortly after, Ross's LMD and Doc Samson would arrive on the scene. First, they accosted A-Bomb after he transformed back into Rick Jones for fear that he might leak the Red Hulk's true identity to the rest of the world. And like a basketball center with no jump shot in the three-point era, the Red Hulk was kicked off the supervillain team, effectively turning him into a lone giant without a friend in the world. Not too long after that, the superhero She-Hulk would team up with Thundra and a few other female superheroes to found a crew called the Lady Liberators. The Lady Liberators attempted to bring Red Hulk into custody. A fight ensued between the two parties, with the Lady Liberators seemingly defeating Red Hulk. Curiously, most of the group left the scene after the fight. Red Hulk would reveal that he was just faking his loss and would then link up with Thundra, the Red Menace. Red Hulk's next adventure would be more cosmic in nature. In this one, the cosmic entity Tyran, aka the Collector, drafted Ross along with other villains like Baron Modo, Terax, and Tiger Shark to battle against the OG Hulk, Doctor Strange, the Silver Surfer, and Namor. And it was mainly done to settle a wager between the Collector and another cosmic high roller, the Grand Master. Red Hulk would name this new team the Offenders, and his main reason for agreeing to be part of the Collector's dream team is that he gave him another chance to put hands on the OG Hulk. During this period, Red Hulk would go on a tear as he even managed to seemingly crush the Silver Surfer's neck and absorb the power cosmic. To add insult to injury, he even stole his trademark surfboard before taking out both ally and enemy alike. But in the end, Ross bit more than he could chew. He tried to step up to Galactus, which ended with the World Eater taking away the power cosmic the Red Hulk stored in his body. Still, the Red Hulk wasn't done with terrorizing those around him. He took out the Grandmaster afterwards because he was done obeying the guy. On the bright side, the Grandmaster did revive everyone the Red Hulk took out earlier before he bit the dust. Just to show that Ross gets his kicks from torturing OG Hulk, this storyline ends with the Red Hulk showing his nemesis the remains of Jarella, OG Hulk's old flame from the Microverse. The reason? Well, Red Hulk simply found pleasure in hurting the Jade Giant in any way that he could. Sometime later, She-Hulk would uncover a plot by the villainous organization AIM to create a gamma-powered army of super soldiers under their command, thanks to Doc Samson. In fact, MODOK and AIM were successful in capturing Bruce Banner to use as their template for this plan. Upon learning of this, She-Hulk enlisted the help of ace journalist Ben Ulrich to get to the bottom of things. Ben then hired Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, to serve as his photographer for this assignment. Not long after, it would come to light that MODOK brainwashed him. An alter ego of Doc Samson would then attack She-Hulk, as well as let AIM and the Red Hulk know that she's in their midst. In the ensuing debacle, Spider-Man would join the fray to aid the Jade Giantess. In the middle of their altercation, they'd come across Bruce, who then transformed into the OG Hulk. As you'd expect, the big green rage machine and the Red Hulk would end up in another face-off, but this time OG Hulk had Spider-Man at his side. The bitter battle between the two brutes culminated in Red Hulk siphoning off the same radiation that gave OG Hulk his strength. Afterwards, Ross, still in his monstrous red form, would confront Ben Ulrich and issue him a warning that he's going to eliminate his friends and co-workers at the frontline publication if he released what he witnessed here to the masses. It would come to pass that the mutant Domino would find out that the Red Hulk's true identity is General Ross when she saw the Crimson Monster reverting back into his human form. To make sure that she didn't release this information to the rest of the world, Red Hulk formed a mercenary team made up of Thundra, Elektra, Crimson Dynamo, Deadpool, and the Punisher. This group would be known as Code Red, and their primary mission was to capture Domino. During this chapter in his life, Red Hulk would find himself blinded by none other than the Claude Canuck, Wolverine. On the bright side, Ross was rescued by another red-tinted update to a pre-existing Marvel superhero, Red She-Hulk. Not everything was copacetic though, as the Red Hulk and Red She-Hulk ended up tussling with each other when Ross found out that Red She-Hulk Hulk betrayed him. By the end of their bout, Red She-Hulk would end up tossing the Red Hulk off a roof. Oddly enough, Red Hulk and Bruce Banner would find themselves teaming up with one another not long after this. This time, the two joined forces to put a stop to the intelligentsia's plans of ruling over the United States. To do this, the Red Hulk fought against the Ross LMD and destroyed it. It would later come to light that Red Hulk took out General Ross at Bruce Banner's request. Now, at this point, the Red Hulk started to dabble into honest superheroics, although it didn't exactly yield the desired results most of the time. First, the Red Hulk would try to help Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four, in fending off against their enemies, the Frightful Four. It ended with mixed results. Sure, Red Hulk managed to save some lives in the process, but Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, ended up getting kidnapped. And not long after that, the Red Hulk would also try to provide support for the X-Men, but that didn't go so well either. His losing streak continued as Ross tried to use his abilities as the Red Hulk to fight his former crew, the Intelligentsia, but a group called Hulkpool and the Hulked Out Heroes beat him. His real identity would also be revealed to some other Marvel characters at this point. This happened when Red Hulk had another confrontation with the Red She-Hulk. Ultimately, Ross would transform into his human form while fighting the Red Giantess. On the bright side, Ross would find out that Red She-Hulk's real identity is as well, and it's none other than his daughter Betty. Now, make no mistake, it's not like Red Hulk had become a full-on superhero even after dipping his toes in it. In fact, Red Hulk would attempt to take control of the White House after absorbing the leader's abilities and going a little crazy. But in the end, he was stopped by his arch nemesis, the OG Hulk, who clocked him with one of Jade Giant's signature thunderclaps. Red Hulk, the Avenger. General Ross would find himself doing time for his most recent outburst at the White House. On the other hand, he'd regain his wits and become relatively sane again, and this would start to look up for Ross a little bit when Captain America recruited him to join Marvel's premier super team, the Avengers. However, it was also during this time that Ross would find out that his energy absorption ability was actually killing him, as Bruce Banner revealed. Well, that's only half true. You see, it's not that this same power was shortening his lifespan. The truth was that the more energy he used, the more he exhausted his ability to change between his human form and his Red Hulk form. That is to say, Ross ran the risk of becoming stuck as the Red Hulk the more he absorbed energy. Initially, the Red Hulk would assist the Avengers in battling the mystic supervillain the Hood, and he'd even managed to gain possession of one of the Affinity Gems for a short time. Not long after that, he'd formally become an Avenger. Now keep in mind that the fact that Ross and the Red Hulk still wasn't public knowledge at this point. Not even the Avengers knew who he really was, which caused tension within the team. Still, when Captain America vouches for someone, then you've got no choice but to trust the Star-Spangled Avenger. The Red Hulk would play a part in stopping the Intelligentsia's Scorched Earth initiative, a plan that involved the total destruction of the planet should its higher-ups' quest for world domination fail. However, in its aftermath, a new kind of supervillain appeared, going by the name of MODOK Superior. Meanwhile, Red Hulk was dealing with a different problem of his own when his old subordinate General Reginald spearheaded an initiative to hunt down the Red Hulk. That's because he believed that the Red Hulk actually took out Ross, unaware that the real Ross just eliminated an LMD in the past. Out of concern for his old prodigy, Ross tried to reveal the truth about the Red Hulk to him, but he ultimately failed. Instead, he would be successful in injecting the Red Hulk with nanites when the two met. This then allowed him to both track the Red Giant's location and find out whenever the Red Hulk reverted into his human form. Not only that, but General Reginald made sure that the nanites would release a fatal shock to Ross whenever he turned human. This made Ross paranoid, even going so far as to keep him awake all the time for fear that the nanites might kick in if he turned his back into a human form should he fall asleep. Not long after that, the Red Hulk would get into it with an opponent called Zero-One and her companion called the Black Fog. Around this time, a cosmic threat called Omegax would also discover trace amounts of the Red Hulk's energy signature from Uatu the Watcher, because remember, the Red Hulk once socked him in the face, which explains why Uatu has some Red Hulk on him. Nothing much came from this discovery though, at least for now. Omegax would hold off from making his way to Earth. Meanwhile, the Red Hulk would have himself a space adventure where he'd eventually find himself stranded on a planet called Tyran. Much like OG Hulk's time on Scar after the Illuminati yeeted him into the farthest reaches of space, the Red Hulk would find himself becoming a gladiator on Tyran. After making a few moves on Tyran, the Red Hulk ended up overthrowing its ruler and becoming the planet's new king himself. During this time, as a Tyran monarch, the Red Hulk would live it up. He was enjoying all the planet had to offer, but it wasn't all fun and games, as Ross did his duties as ruler too, defending Tyran against enemies from the planet Randa and eventually absorbing their domain into his own. throne. In the end, the Red Hulk decided to abdicate his throne, pretty much concluding that monarchies suck and that both Tyran and Rada would be better off without some guy in the throne ruling over them. Sometime later, Ross would encounter Zax, a creature of energy who MODOK Superior had augmented. Red Hulk then found out that Annie, an LMD who happens to be his ally, was kidnapped by MODOK Superior, so Ross came to her rescue, forcing MODOK Superior to tuck tail and run. During the Fear Itself event, the Red Hulk would go into battle against the Thing, who was transformed into the villainous Angerer and so-called Breaker of Souls. This particular event also gained the Red Hulk some clout in the superhero community, as they started to finally believe that this red giant might actually be a good guy. Now remember Omegax? He finally got around to hunting down the Red Hulk, and the two fought in a ground-shaking duel. The Red Hulk proved to be incapable of defeating him, but curiously enough, he ended up surviving the encounter when his old enemy, the Black Fog, arrived on the scene to help him. We'd find out that there was actually a silver lining to Omegax setting his sights on Red Hulk. You see, the creature believed that Red Hulk was one of a kind. That is to say, he was a quote-unquote unique life form. Suffice it to say that Omegax wanted to take out the Red Hulk, but destroying Earth wasn't in its top priorities. On the other hand, General Fortune was at it again. Not knowing any better, he joined the fray, which put tons of innocent lives in danger. Because of this, Ross selected to join the ensuing fight. He tried to use his energy absorption abilities on Omegax, but it backfired and the Red Hulk became incapacitated. There's a whole other side to the story too, where 01 decided to become friendly with the Red Hulk while trying to find out about his past. All the while, another watcher named Yoravu intervened to try to whisk the Crimson Brute from the battlefield. It culminated with 01 deactivating the nanites that Fortune placed inside of Ross. In the same time, we also got to witness Ross showing his inner softy during the storyline by being a little bit protective of Annie, the LMD. But as far as his confrontation with Omegax went, Ross ended with an anticlimactic W when he transformed into his human form while battling the planet destroyer. This prompted Omegax to shrug its emotionless shoulders and just, well, disappear. And the explanation for this, it's just as a little wacky. As you see, Omegax had its crosshairs set on the Red Hulk, but when Ross reverted to its human form, it pretty much confused the villain to make it think that, well, I guess its job was done. Battles, betrayals, and a brush with hell. Later, Ross would find out about the demise of one of his old friends, a man named Will Kroger. He discovered that Will had met his demise somewhere in the Middle East, which prompted the Red Hulk to avenge his friend. When he got there, he discovered a rebel faction that possessed dangerous tech in their hands. A superhero group named the Secret Avengers would try and de-escalate matters by reining in the Red Hulk, but as you'd expect, this didn't sit well with Ross and they ended up throwing down with one another. An agent named Naveed Hashim, aka Arabian Knight, would also get in on the action, and it would take Captain America to be the voice of reason to stop the fight. The Red Hulk would be paired up with Machine Man to investigate the source of these weapons, a man named Dagan Shah. During this mission, the Red Hulk and Machine Man would fight with a Manticore. The Manticore would poison the Red Hulk and force him to revert to his human form. Eventually, they reached Dagan's domain, a place called Sharzad. It would eventually be revealed that Dagan Shah is a villain known as the Sultan Magnus. Dagan was able to trap Ross and Machine Man within crystals, but they ultimately broke free from their restraints after Dagan left his domain. The two would then find out that Dagan's power is derived from abandoned Regalian tech, prompting Ross to conclude that they should take out the guy. As you'd expect, a fight broke out. Dagan was able to get the upper hand against Ross and almost sent him through a portal leading to deep space, but Machine Man did Ross a solid by saving the old man. Thankfully, the Arabian Knight came in clutch and lopped off Dagan's arms to give Machine Man an opportunity to craft and escape. The Red Hulk and Dagan continued to fight until General Fortune arrived to inform them that the nation had granted Dagan's domain, Sharzad, status as an independent nation. So Dagan and the Red Hulk stopped fighting. Afterwards, he told his unwanted guest to get out of his country. Sometime later, the Red Hulk would receive a mission from Captain America to take the symbiote Venom into custody. He managed to locate the Kui Black anti-hero in Nevada. They had a bit of a fight, but it was interrupted when the demon Blackheart summoned a part of his realm to Earth. The Red Hulk and Venom then called a truce, so they teamed up along with X-23 and the Ghost Rider to fight Blackheart and his minions. Specifically, they had to throw down with infernal versions of themselves called the Antithesis. It didn't end well because Red Hulk and his newfound crew ended up losing their lives in the battle. Red Hulk's soul was sent to Hell, where its ruler Mephisto offered them resurrection in exchange for defeating Blackheart. They accepted the deal and eventually confronted Blackheart again. In the battle, the Red Hulk, the Spirit of Vengeance, and Venom joined forces Voltron style to become a new version of Ghost Rider. They then successfully defeated Blackheart, and in the aftermath, the Red Hulk even put in a good word for Flash Thompson to allow him to continue using the Venom symbiote. What Ross and the rest of his companions didn't know, however, was that their recent brush with Blackheart and Mephisto granted each of them a Hell Mark. Now, we wouldn't be going into too much detail about this, but all you need to know is that a Hell Mark is a brand that indicates you're in line to become a Hell Lord. It comes with a few perks too, like demons being banned from possessing your body and immunity to fire. So soon enough, the Red Hulk would grab the attention of the Eternals, who had absolutely no idea what to make of him. That is to say, even these cosmic entities were confused whether they should categorize the Red Giant as a good guy or a bad guy. One of the Eternals, Cersei, tried to inquire about this, but when the Red Hulk saw her, he instantly thought she was hostile and tried to get rid of her. This caused another Eternal, Icarus, to intervene. A fight ensued between the two, but the Eternals eventually bolted out of there. In the end, the Eternals branded Red Hulk as a foe. Red Hulk, no more. At this point in Marvel's history, OG Hulk turned into a super smart version of himself, dubbed Doc Green. Doc Green had a bright idea of ridding the world of any and all gamma-powered individuals, which prompted him to come up with the so-called cure. He was successful in depowering the likes of A-Bomb, Red She-Hulk, and Scar. Ross caught wind of this, so he in turn decided to keep an eye on Doc Green. Eventually, the Red Hulk tracked Doc Green down in an all too familiar place, San Francisco. They fought a bit, and Red Hulk initially found success in battle when he managed to break Doc Green's arm. But as we mentioned, this is a smart version of Hulk. Instead of relying on brawn, Doc Green managed to lead Ross to his home base in order to gather more data on him. Doc Green then teleported the Red Hulk away. In the interim, Ross prepared for another fight with Doc Green. Eventually, Deadpool would help Doc Green track down the Red Hulk. Not only that, but Doc Green was also tasked Deadpool with shooting the Red Hulk with a substance that would hinder his energy absorption abilities. In the end, Doc Green was able to overpower the Red Hulk and administer the Gamma Cure to the Red Giant. This effectively depowered Ross, turning the Red Hulk into a thing of the past. To make matters worse, Ross got arrested and charged with desertion, which then got him sent to prison. Still, even without the power of the Red Hulk, Ross did his best to fight the good fight. After some time, he found himself leading a cell of resistant fighters against Hydra. This ultimately granted him parole, and even better, he got another government job. But Thunderbolt Ross was not a squeaky clean hero to begin with. During this time, he joined a secret society called the Power Elite, a shady organization aimed at making America strong again. His time with the Power Elite didn't go as smoothly as you'd expect. Ross decided to investigate the inner workings of this group, and in a response, they hired an assassin to try and take him out. But thanks to LMDs, Ross was able to survive the attempt. On a darker note, Captain America ended up shouldering the blame, with people thinking that the Star-Spangled Avenger had actually assassinated the real General Ross. From here, Ross started working in the shadows. Since only a select few individuals in the Marvel Universe knew about the truth behind his status, he secretly aided the superhero team called the Daughters of Liberty when they faced off against a mutant magician, Selene. After some time, Ross would reveal that he was alive and well to the rest of his crew. Red Hulk returns. At this point, Ross and the Power Elite had become enemies. Eventually, the secret organization managed to kidnap the old man. In custody, the villainous mercenary Crossbones gave Ross heavy doses of sharp interrogation. Eventually, Captain America and his friends would locate their hideout. Alexa and Crossbones then ordered the supervillain Cutthroat to put an end to General Ross. Cutthroat does as he's told, and curiously, Ross urged the villain to keep on hurting him. And man, Cutthroat is obedient if nothing else. He obliged Ross's wishes. Little did he know that that might have been Ross's plan all along, because after a few licks, Ross was able to transform back into the Red Hulk, albeit looking somewhat different than his original iteration. Back to being the Crimson Giant, Ross promptly handed Cutthroat his comeuppance. Afterwards, he made sure that the Power Elite's assets were sufficiently messed up with when he destroyed several of their planes. The last time we see Red Hulk, at least for now, he and Captain America were reunited as the Red Giant honors his roots as a military man by saluting the Star-Spangled Avenger.